Well guys, it's that time of the year again. It's October, and that means Halloweens. That means ghosts and goblins and pumpkin spice everything. And it also means I get to shoehorn a horror game review into my otherwise hardware-centric blog and well, now YouTube channel. So, I guess this is actually going to be my first video review of a game. So here we go. Oh, okay, I guess this is the spot where I'm supposed to have like an intro video going on and, you know, like some kind of montage of video game footage and hardware and controllers plugging in and lids popping up and lights and, you know, some kind of 8-bit rendition of some song playing in the background, but that sounds like a hell of a lot of work, so maybe I'm gonna outsource that cheaply. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. One step, and then again, let's do the Mario all together now. You got it. Ooh, so welcome to the Halloween special, and the game I'm going to be reviewing and talking about is Beastbusters. Beastbusters is a 1989 game by SNK. They should be pretty well known. Actually, fun fact, Beastbusters is their last game before they started work on the Neo Geo. So that's a little interesting thing. So what is Beastbusters? A lot of people refer to Beastbusters as kind of an Operation Wolf clone, and yeah, that's pretty obvious. You know, it doesn't help that all the zombies and stuff in this game use guns, and it's very reminiscent of something like Operation Wolf. So the Beastbusters arcade cabinet allowed for 3 players and featured Uzi gun controllers for all 3 players. Unlike many arcade games of the late 80s and early 90s, Beastbusters was not ported to every home computer imaginable, and only made an appearance on the 16-bit Amiga and the Atari ST machine. Actually, for me, the Amiga version was the first experience with the game as a child. I don't recall ever getting past the first level, though, due to whatever reason. I just remember it was a control issue. I don't think it was the game. It was just probably my non-understanding of computers at the time. But really, as far as I could probably get is like close to the end of the first level, because I couldn't, the controller cursor for the gun sight was always just stuck in the corner, so I could just get through the game by just lobbing grenades and firing, and it always looked like a game that I really loved, but I couldn't play it. The controls, I just couldn't figure out how to make the gun sight move. So yeah, my first experience was on the Amiga version, but I didn't get very far. Actually, later on, there was an arcade in my local mall back when arcades were in pretty much every mall. This one was called Giggles, and it did feature the game for a while. I remember it being back in kind of like a far-forsaken corner, so I did get to kind of play it and experience it then in its original format. For this review, though, all the footage you'll be seeing, I have to take the unfortunate step of emulating, since I can't really hoard arcade cabinets, and arcade boards tend to be a little hard to come across. I hate emulating stuff, but I make an exception for arcade games. So the game starts off with a very vague plot about a random city overrun with undead. You get to choose from 3 characters, who, as far as I can tell, are pretty much play identical in this game. The names, though, are great. They just scream 80s action cheese. Our heroes go by Johnny Justice, Sammy Stately, and Paul Patriot. Sammy Stately, guys. That's actually pretty clever. The writers must have been up all night patting themselves on the back over that one. That's pretty good. I'm actually surprised we don't get a Reggie Regal or a Patty Presidential as a secret unlockable character. That would be just great. Like Operation Wolf and other games of the genre, you automatically scroll through the levels in first person, blasting everything that moves. Other than your standard Uzi, you get a grenade button that lobs an explosive, damaging enemies in a wide area on screen. As you fire, you can actually run out of bullets. If this happens, though, you can still fire. Your rate of fire just slows down. Ammo falling from the top of the screen is pretty abundant in this game, so it's actually really hard to run out of ammunition without actually trying. I had no problems in my playthrough. Grenade power-ups, such as rockets, napalm grenades, and lightning grenades, are also available as well. as are first aid kits, and according to the intro, bulletproof vests, though I don't recall finding any in my playthrough. As far as enemies go, in Beast Busters, the bulk of the beasts you'll be encountering, that's a bit of a tongue twister, the bulk of the beasts you'll be encountering in Beast Busters are zombies. But unlike your classical slow-moving mindless variety, these undead are packing heat and are raring to pop a cap off in your stately derriere. These zombies also drive cars, pilot boats, and the football player zombies even assault you from the air while being lifted airborne by what looks like undead owls. There are other enemies though as you traverse the city of the damned. Zombie chihuahua dogs, sentient piles of scrap metal, and the aforementioned undead or possibly just bad mood owls. The real highlight is the sometimes downright bizarre mid-boss and boss beasts. Some are fairly mild on the oddness chart, such as the first boss, a switchblade-flinging zombie punk rocker who transforms into a fire-spitting dog mid-fight. Other not-so-odd bosses are a gang of zombie bikers that seem to have rocket launchers strapped to their bikes, Chuck Norris Delta Force style. As well as a pair of blue Uzi-toting zombies that look like an amalgamation of Jason Voorhees and Blaster from Mad Max and Thunderdome. Some of the bosses, though, get really odd, and it's sort of a treat to see them. We have this river blob mid-boss that has the most serene look on his face in between attacks. He doesn't even come close to the level boss, though, which is a floating eyeball encased within a sphere of finely toned naked blue men. Yes, you heard that right. A floating eyeball encased within a sphere of finely toned naked blue men. As you inflict damage, the hunky blue heartthrobs fall off into the murky depths, exposing the lurking horror within. One boss battle even has you watching your aim as you shoot a mad scientist type as he holds on to a CIA hostage. After he dies, though, you get to fight his second form, which looks kind of like... well, I'm not really sure what it kind of looks like, but I can tell you that weird, sexy dance he's trying to do just freaks me out. Getting jiggy with it, monster. Getting jiggy with it. But without a doubt, the most memorable boss monster is the monster car. Later in the game, you're fighting in a parking garage when you're suddenly attacked by a rocket launcher-equipped Jeep. Not too strange, right? How about as you damage the Jeep, parts start falling off, revealing a disgusting Jeep monster hybrid. The tires have claws, the eyeballs look out where the headlights once were, biological ooze comes out of the shattered windshield, and a vicious fang-filled maw is where the front grille once was. The car not only serves as the level's mid-boss, but also as the main boss, as it pulls itself up onto the elevator at the end of the level for a final showdown. It's a pretty silly boss battle, but it's definitely memorable. The final level is nothing but a boss rush, though, and it ends up being pretty unsatisfying. The final boss himself, though, is a snarky-looking mad scientist type in a techno-eyeball throne. After dealing with his throne, you get to face his true form, a Cyclopsian flying brain, because, obviously. Even after slaying the eyeball brain, things aren't over yet, as the final battle is against what I assume is some kind of alien machine bristling with weapons. After you defeat this final boss, the ending is a bit lackluster, but what can you expect from an arcade title? As your victorious dude bros celebrate amid the ruins, a giant spaceship slowly descends, and cue cliffhanger ending. Visually, the game isn't horrible, at least the arcade version isn't. I don't remember too much from my playing with the Amiga version, but I don't remember it being really bad. Some levels even feature sprite scrolling, such as the level where you're going down the street, and also there's a hallway level where you have to actually watch your aim, since if you shoot the tubes on the sides of the hall, zombies come out and shoot you. Yes, zombies. They all have guns and they all shoot you. I just have a hard time getting over that. The environments are sort of destructible in some places, though obviously nothing like most of today's game. The subway train in the first level can be shot up pretty thoroughly, and I always enjoy blasting fire hydrants in the street stage. Sound is so-so, nothing annoying, but nothing very memorable. Well, final verdict, what did I think of the game? Well, Beast Busters is ultimately a fun but silly game. It never took the element of horror far enough for my taste, and instead went with more silly depictions, with simply taking gun-wielding soldiers as enemies and giving them an undead sprite swap. Some moments are almost inspired though, again in a silly kind of way, such as the monster car boss or the floating eyeball surrounded by the naked blue hard-bodied zombies. It's certainly not the prettiest game, but it's fairly short and it does not overstay its welcome, making it a nice short burst of Halloween fun. If you like this video, please subscribe. I have a lot of other videos, most of them deal with hardware, but I may do more of these video reviews, so stay tuned. And if you like it, please subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Come on now, just like that.